The Polestar 2 is so good that I nearly bought one. It is a phrase that I've heard a lot this week, but no one actually did buy one. They all ended up buying Teslas or BMWs or Golfs or whatever. But it is actually really good. So let's have a look at why the Polestar 2's always been the bridesmaid and never actually the bride. Starting with the looks, I think the Polestar 2 looks absolutely fantastic, but no one else seems to care. I have not felt as anonymous in a car since the Bolt EUV, and that is saying something. Moving around to the side, we have got proper summer tires. Thank you so much, guys. And with the performance pack, these big old Brembo brakes, which I have not really been able to experience on the road, but I imagine they will rip your face off. Around the side, we've got door handles, which shouldn't be a feature, but electric cars, for whatever reason, it is. And also, the locks are super fast. So listen to this. Whew. It's great. You can just get in and out, and it's no problem. Also, this being a Volvo, not Volvo product, we have their frameless mirrors, which look fantastic, and also their auto dimming, which is, it's one of those fancy car features that, ooh, love it. One electric car thing that we do get though is a frunk. Pop it up there.
Do you want to do that faster? Or no?
I can't. In the front, we also have a good bit of room. So we've got our jack here for when you want to adjust your dampers and also your AC charging cable. It's all pretty decent, but because you have to use the hood latch thing, you're never going to use it realistically. This is an electric vehicle, and they let you know with this cheesy ass sticker that I would 100% take off. It's a 78 kilowatt hour battery, which is good for 418 kilometers of range with the spec that we have here. The charging port's right here, and it does support up to 150 kilowatt DC fast charging, which is not quite as fast as some of the other vehicles that we've seen, but the area under the charging curve is really quite good. So you get 150 kilowatt for most of it, instead of some where it's like 300, nothing. Around back, we have the absolute best kick sensor that I've ever had in a car. Like everything else, I've just ended up using a little button. There is one down here, but this one, man, it just works fantastic. Also, power lift, power close, really great. All right, stop. I want to show them the trunk. Stop. Haha, it did it. Oh, look at that. Oh, no.
That's kind of impressive. It stopped midway,
Yeah.
though. That's pretty cool.
In the trunk, we have a surprising amount of room. You've got the lift back, so it's easy to get stuff in and out. And we not only have this space right here, but underneath, there's also quite a bit of space, which is a welcome little surprise. And we have the Volvo signature little grocery rack. Hopping into the back seat, it's acceptable. I have about 2 millimeters maybe of head clearance and a little bit of room here behind the driver's seat. It's adequate, but not amazing. We do have the optional heated rear seats back here, and overall it's a fine spot to be. It's like you can throw people back there, but it's definitely not an executive spot. Hopping into the driver's seat, this is where the problems start. Now the seats themselves are very comfortable. They're cloth, and turns out on a hot day they show your sweat. That's pretty gross, but they are very comfortable. We have plenty of adjustment, and they do hold you in nice and tight when you're going around corners. Problem is, I can't get comfortable in here, like not at all. I want to be something like 4-6 inches further back, around here-ish, but then I don't have an armrest for my left arm. This door is just way too short, and they haven't extended this out onto the B-pillar like some other cars. Confound that problem once I have moved up here and my legs are not as comfy as they would like to be. This is terrible. Guys, what the f***? Like actually, this is not a cheap car. Well, it's just one of the worst armrests I've felt. You can get a base Corolla and it is more comfortable than this. Like, not only is the material really harsh, but also there's like basically zero padding. So it's just my elbow. It actually hurts all the time. And I finish my drives in this sore because it's so strange the way that you have to contort yourself. On top of that, the right-hand side is also very bad. It's fine if you don't want to have a cup holder, just right here, pretty good. This right here has a nice squishy material that I really wish they used on the door. Guys, if you want to have a cup, you need to move it back like that, which means that your right armrest is way further back than your left armrest. So you're kind of like, the whole time, and it's quite uncomfortable. On top of that, the little edge here is very hard. Like all of this, nice and squishy. Love it. The very front, where when it's back, where your armrests sucks. What's even worse, say you want to have 2 cups in here, which I think is pretty reasonable given, like, you know, there's 2 seats, you might have 2 people up here. Look at this. Ah, wow, that's so good. I love that. Why have storage in the center console when you can have your second cup holder and you just have to yeet the armrest into the back? That is terrible, guys. This isn't a fucking Lotus, and I think even Lotuses, they fixed that. Overall, the storage in here just feels not very well thought out and generally You have a spot up here to put your phone, which is fine enough, I guess. There's a little sunglasses holder on both sides, even though it doesn't actually close. And there's not enough room for a water bottle in the door, so I don't know, don't bring stuff in here, put it in the trunk. Is the glove box at least decent? Oh yeah, it's a real glove box. The left armrest aside, the materials in here are quite nice. It isn't like luxurious sort of materials, like it's not all leather and stuff, but it all does feel really quite good and I think looks pretty fantastic. Right around the gear lever, bunch of piano black. On the controls on the steering wheel, piano black. Polestar has thought of this though, and they have very kindly given us a little cloth. Now I get to have 3.5 seconds of no fingerprints on my steering wheel. For infotainment, this all is pretty good. We've got the nice big touchscreen here, and even though we don't have like physical controls for things like climate, this is one of the better implementations that I have seen. It's all pretty easy, the stuff that you want's down at the bottom, and overall it works pretty well. Now for this car we have Android Automotive, which is not Android Auto, and this one right here, it's yeah, Polestar were actually the first ones to have that, and it shows. I don't think they've updated it since then. Compared to the Lyric that we had last week, this is generations or OS revisions behind them for sure. I really hope that when like the Polestar 3 releases, this will get a nice big update. But then again, that's already been pushed back, so I don't know when you'll get some love, Polestar 2 owners. Overall, it is pretty good. Like, it isn't awful like what BMW has, but I do wish that they had at least included Android Auto that has been updated since then. And well, they do have Apple CarPlay, so I really do not understand why they do not have Android Auto. One kind of silly thing, we got the panoramic sunroof, which first of all doesn't have a sunshade, but it does have a Polestar logo that lights up. Cool, I guess. Polestar were at least nice enough to give us a physical volume knob, even if it is kind of hard to reach around the gear lever. Speaking of which, let's put it in drive.
Thanks to XSplit for sponsoring this video. XSplit is a cutting-edge software company that provides advanced broadcasting and video production tools for creators, gamers, and businesses. XSplit offers a range of products like Broadcaster and VCam. Broadcaster allows users to capture, produce, and stream high-quality video content to popular platforms such as Twitch and YouTube. VCam allows users to remove, replace, or blur their webcam background during a video call, live stream, or recording, creating a more professional-looking and distraction-free video. Check out XSplit today at lmg.gg/xsplit and use code Linus for 69% off your first purchase or subscription.
Well, we're just putting along here. The 360 camera is pretty good, not the best I've seen, but more than serviceable, and that's not what you care about. Because we have the performance pack. This has 476 horsepower, 502 foot-pounds of torque, and a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds. This thing is proper quick, and like that launch was pretty violent, but it is nowhere near the kind of just the absolute knockback that this thing has when you step on the pedal. This has some of the best throttle response that I've ever seen in an EV. Like, oh, a lot of EVs will kind of just push you back into the chair rapidly. This right here, is violent in the way that it shoves you back, in a way that only like the Taycan and the BMW iX have replicated. Everything else, like, you know, a Tesla, it pushes you back. I haven't been in a Plaid, maybe that's as bad. But this right here, that initial come on is just insane. This is a very, very good package. Like, nothing else has the kind of confidence in a corner that this right here has. Like, this thing's 4,800 pounds, and I can just send it into corners and not be concerned about either killing myself or just being really bored like I might be in, you know, most Teslas. Now there are heaps of cars on the market that have adjustable dampers, like my Golf. To adjust the dampers in my Golf, I press Mode, go to the menu, Sport. Wow, now they're stiffer. Comfort. Now they're more comfy. That's it. Now on the Polestar 2, it's a little bit more complicated. On the front, it's not too bad. So there's a little dial down here. Just need to turn the tire all the way over, reach under like this. So I want to turn it clockwise 8 times probably, if it's at its normal setting. Now we have adjustments from 0 to 20, with 0 being the firmest and 20 being the most comfortable. So we're gonna just whack it all the way to the most comfortable, see how it feels. For the rear, it's a little bit more complicated. So you need to get out your jack. We're not actually lifting the car up, we just need a little bit more space around the tire. Now we need to remove the wheel well liner so that we can get at the top of the strut tower. You'll need a 10 mil to do this, so if yours is gone, I don't know, you're hooped. But we just need 7 of these guys to come off. Ugh. And once we're in here, we need to take off the little rubber chummy on top. All right, got it set back to 0, now we count up to 20. With the comfort setting, Polestar does say that your cornering will be compromised. Let's see if they're correct. That's still pretty freaking good. Like, you can definitely tell that you can't turn in as sharp, but if you're using this thing just like on normal roads, man, oh, that is still handled really, really well. All right, let's find a bumpy section. I can already tell that it's way more compliant. This is heaps better. Oh, this is very reasonable. Ah, this is great. All right, so now we have suspension that's compliant enough for daily driving, but the handling is still absolutely excellent. And if you do want to track this thing, or you know that you're gonna go on like a big windy road trip down the crow's nest or something, you can stiffen her up a bit and be very happy. I would say this is a success. One thing softening your dampers can also do that might not be as obvious is affect your acceleration. Because you know, if you squats down, it's just loading the suspension instead of loading the tires. Let's see here. Oh, nope, it's still brutal. Since we did adjust the dampers, when you're putting along, it is very comfortable in here. And it's relatively quiet. It isn't quite the level of refinement that you would find in like the Ioniq 6 or the Lyriq or, well, most electric cars. But it is overall pretty good, and none of those have the level of performance that this thing has, like not even close. This being, you know, not a Volvo, has all of their safety features, so we have pretty decent adaptive cruise and lane centering. It's not industry leading, like it isn't as good as the stuff that you'll find from like GM or Hyundai or Lexus, or it's not great, but it's way better than not having it for sure. It even does pretty decent start and stop, even though if I'm coming up behind a vehicle, I'm not gonna trust it to slow me down in time like I did in the Lyriq. What's also pretty decent is the sound system. Play Crab Rave.
Please sign into the Spotify app with the
Oh, you piece of shit. Play Crab Rave on Tidal.
Voice actions aren't available for that app.
It f***ing is. This isn't a this car problem. This is a Tidal problem. Oh wow, I can just use the whole menu here while I'm driving. That's a half a questionable one, but I appreciate it. In this one, we have the Harman Kardon sound system, and it's good enough. Oh, who cares about that though? We've got some corners. Corner! Ha! I have not just thrashed a press car like this one for a good long time. Like, actually, I don't even think ever. Like, the Taycan, even though that was heaps of fun, on public roads, you cannot get into that. You will either go to jail or go to just being deleted off the face of the earth very, very fast. Whereas this right here, it's more of like you can have some fun, but you don't have to worry about, you know, the back coming out and getting wrapped around a pole, or going 160 kilometers per hour in a second and getting wrapped around a pole, or like, just it's great. This right here, it's the Polestar. It's not the pole, the hitter. From the factory, we got, well, way too much bass and not enough treble, but they give us a proper EQ, so we were able to tweak it to where we actually quite like the sound. With this right here, I do see why they have a bit less treble, because it is a bit shouty at times in certain songs, but overall, I like these settings much more than the default one. Thank you so much for including a proper equalizer. I really, really do like this thing, and it's just so sad, the stuff that they have not quite gotten right, because it seems like things that would be really, really easy to fix. I really want to just buy one and throw in, first of all, a bit of sound deadening. Like, this thing's already 4,800 pounds. 100 pounds of sound deadening is gonna be pretty nice day to day. If I owned this car, I would remove all of this material, put better foam underneath it, stitch it back up, and probably just be a much happier camper. Or I don't know, I probably just wouldn't buy one. Guys, for the 2024, please fix the ergonomics for the driver. Like, I get that there's probably batteries or some crap in the center console area here, but like, if this was an ergonomic car to sit in, I would very seriously consider buying one. But instead, this thing's 77 grand Canadian with all of the stuff that we have in it. Maybe I'll just be one of those people that said they'll buy one and don't. Get subscribed and maybe go and, I don't know, adjust your dampers, stick your hand in a wheel well or something. Have a great day.